Hi. Hi, for those of you streaming in, we're going to start in about a minute. Okay, so I think some of you might get a pop-up with regards to a quiz. As Bjorn mentioned in the chat, right, that's actually a quiz by the World Health Organization, and it's slightly modified, but the key is to get a sense of where everyone is and how they're feeling, so that ideally Bjorn then has some data and feedback. So I'm going to jump right in so that then Bjorn can go into the session, and it's just nice, it's 1:31 now. So hi everyone, welcome. I'm Mohan from E27. We've been doing these regular webinar series. Typically, it's always around a how-to topic, academy topic. The previous one we had was regarding remote teams. And this time around, we wanted to do something a bit different. We specifically wanted to focus on mindfulness and helping people actually deal with some of the day-to-day challenges with working in a difficult environment. So especially now with all the COVID issues, with all the funding issues, with all the general challenges everyone is facing, we figured that a once-a-week session where we bring everyone together, provide some support for each other, and then have an expert like Bjorn talk about how to deal with challenges, how to deal with the day-to-day stresses, and how to apply some techniques on mindfulness, meditation, and helping to be calmer. Hopefully that helps some of you deal with all of this, and ideally, it makes everyone go through this entire process a bit better. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Bjorn for this. So there'll be he'll start with a quick introduction. He'll explain some concepts of mindfulness, and then we'll go through actually a live meditation session, and then we can end off with some Q&A. So with that, I'll hand over to Bjorn, and I'll stop sharing my screen now.
Thank you, Mohan. Let me share my screen. Okay, let's take a look at the poll results. I'm not sure whether everybody can see. Millie, Mohan, can you see my screen?
Yep, I can. Anyway, I even can see the poll results as well.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, I'm just quickly going through the poll results. It looks like pretty even for the first question. I'm going to go and explain what these questions really mean later on. Being cheerful and in good spirits is a different answer. And then we have 50% of people feeling active and vigorous. That's still pretty good. Sleep is somewhat of an issue. Most people are quite curious by things that interest you. That's good to hear. Most of the webinar participants are feeling that way. And social connection is still pretty high as well. That's amazing. Good job, everyone. My name is Bjorn Lee. And for the next 20 minutes or so, I'm here to share with you how mindfulness can help you perform better, whether it's at work or your own life as well. So a quick background about myself. I previously started companies, did some startups before. I was previously based in Silicon Valley and ran a startup over there. I was funded by Google Ventures, which was both a blessing and somewhat of a stressful affair as well, because I actually suffered chest pains during that time, and that was 10 years ago. I saw a doctor who suggested that who diagnosed that this was not due to a heart attack. That's thank God, and was actually due to work stress. So this is the first time that I actually heard from somebody, and this was 10 years ago, that work stress could cause chest pains. They call it psychosomatic, where your body actually creates some physical pain. Your mind can actually create physical pains into your body as well. So he asked me to see a psychologist. I refused, and but he suggested I try meditation. I ignored him for 6 months before I bit the bullet, and that's how I thought of it back then. So this was 10 years ago, and this was my first exposure to meditation, to mindfulness. And for some of you who may have meditated before, or those of you who have not, but maybe follow what Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, does. He subscribes to this particular form of meditation called Vipassana. And what it really means, and it sounds scarier than it is, but it's a 10-day silent retreat. I repeat, it's a silent retreat, so you're not allowed to talk to anyone. You're not allowed to make eye contact with anybody at all. And so that's what I went for in India. I learned about that meditation a lot about meditation from that time. And I started my journey on meditation and mindfulness since then. But meditation is quite difficult. Today you will learn two different types of practices. One is a very short 1 minute practice. It's actually a mindful practice involving your body. And then later on, we'll do a longer 10-minute practice as well. Not everybody is familiar with mindfulness or can take on to mindfulness immediately. And so what I strongly believe is in micro habits helping you. And because this also mirrors my own journey, I found that going to a retreat and meditating for a long period of time every day did not really help me. But from the Google program started by my friend, Chet Meng, this program called Search Inside Yourself, I learned that you can actually bring micro habits into your daily life. So some examples is, for example, you can learn to walk mindfully, right? Or you can learn to eat mindfully as well. For the interest of time, we will not be able to share some of these practices during this session, but perhaps if you are interested in future sessions, we can cover some of these interesting practices so you can integrate some of these micro habits into your daily life. Subsequently, I worked at Zendesk as well, where I was a product manager over there. I was there for about 3 years through the acquisition of Zopim, for those of you who are familiar with their local startup. And then 3 years ago, I started MyFi, which is a B2B mindfulness and mental well-being platform. So we run webinars for companies, we do workshops, and we also provide mobile apps which train companies and employees how to meditate and deliver analytics to them. So enough about me. I want to explain about the quiz that you all actually did earlier. So this quiz, as I mentioned, is developed by the World Health Organization, and it only comprises of 5 to 6 questions. Now, this question is something you can do yourself, but even better if you can take it back to your teams, even a family or your company to do as well, because it gives you a very broad and holistic overview of what their well-being is at. For some of you who have been reading the slides already, you may recognize some of the questions that you just answered, right? And of course, for those of you who just joined us and may have missed some of the questions, I think E27 will bring the questions back at the end of this session, right? But let's start from the top of this pentagon. This quiz from WHO actually covers physical well-being, asking you about activity and how fresh and rested do you feel when you wake up. It covers the mental aspect as well, asking you about how calm and relaxed do you feel, because it's very important to well-being. And of course, emotional well-being is also connected, how cheerful and in good spirits you have been, right? Before I move on further, I'm sure that some of you have heard that running or being active actually improves your mental health. And that's why, right? Because these 5 areas are all connected, right? And so meaning, which is actually the spiritual aspect of a well-being, whether you are religious or whether you are not religious, spiritual well-being refers to the amount of purpose and meaning you actually have inside your own life, the satisfaction, which is why this question is very agnostic and asks you about things that interest you, all right? So that amount of curiosity you may have outside of your working life or outside of your own personal endeavors or hobbies as well. Now, the 5th and final aspect is more about your social well-being. How connected have you felt to others? If you feel that you have not been, you have been, working from home, and maybe you have been lacking and missing some of the social connections they usually have, perhaps maybe you are, quite a sociable person, maybe you're more extroverted as well. Not saying that introverts do not need social connection, but I'm just saying that we all seek different levels of engagement. So what I'm here to say also is that social is also a critical part of your overall well-being, right? These 5 areas are all connected. The actual quiz is rated from 0 to 5. For those of you who are interested, I think I'll provide a link in the slides later on. Or if you want to Google it yourself, maybe not during this session, but after the session, type WH4 Wellbeing questionnaire, and you can see how the actual quiz is structured, because you get a score, a score, and they tell you what you can do if your score is below a certain level. All right, so that's something for you to take back in case for your team members. Great, now we are going to do our first exercise. And the reason why I structured it this way is because I know all of you are very busy and some of you may have to jump off after 15 minutes. And so I hope for the next 100 seconds. You can join me in this interesting exercise. This is not your traditional meditation, or sometimes in some of my public speaking, I tell you this is not your grandfather's or grandmother's idea of mindfulness meditation, where you close your eyes and sit down and meditate. We are going to do that later for the 10-minute practice. That is why I call it a formal practice. But there are other informal practices. They are inspired by mindfulness and help you relax as well. So I want you to just be comfortable where you're sitting. We are going to engage 10 different areas of your body in this exercise, and they're all listed down in these boxes. This exercise is called progressive muscle relaxation, also called PMR for short. So progressive muscle relaxation is actually an exercise that was developed by Dr. Edmondson in the 1930s. And the theory is that by relaxing and tightening your muscles throughout the entire body, it helps you relax. Why? Because when you're more anxious, your muscles tend to tense up, right? So a lot of us rely on going to massage parlors, salons in order to actually get that relaxation. But you know, the thing here is that you can do a little bit of it by yourself as well. And it's very useful if done frequently during the day, perhaps during lunchtime or your midday slump around 4 or 5 p.m. where you feel kind of tired. You just want to maybe ease the anxiety that you have in your body. So we will actually check out the entire exercise. It's going to take 100 seconds, and I hope you can stay with me for this 100 seconds at least, if not the full session. Let's begin. We will start from the top of the body down to your toes, all right? So if you want to begin with our forehead, I want you to crunch your forehead. If you look at my video, can you all see me? Yeah, I believe you all can see me. Look at how my brows are scrunched up together. Look like you're thinking very hard, right? Squeeze your eyebrows together, your forehead, for 10 seconds, and I'll count down. Or you can follow this GIF as well if you find it difficult to listen to what I say. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Great. Next, your eyes. I want you to squeeze your eyes really hard, like you are about to blow out the candles on your birthday cake, all right? Look at my eyes and go. 10, 9, 8, 7, as tight as you can. 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Great. Next, your cheeks. I like you to puff out your cheeks as if you have a lot of food in your mouth, all right? So like this. So it's like, you're like almost like one of those goldfish, right? With a very puffy cheek. So puff out your cheeks like this, and I'll count down for you. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Awesome. Great. Now next, your mouth, all right? Imagine you have a very large piece of chewing gum. Now I know that it's banned in Singapore and some of you have forgotten what it's like to chew gum. Just imagine that you're chewing a really juicy piece of mushroom, portobello mushroom or chicken wing, right? So chew for 10 seconds. Let's go. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Great. Now next, your shoulders, all right? For those of you who always need a visual aid or simply love GIFs, I have another GIF for you. Try to squeeze your shoulder blades together. If you can make them touch, even better, but I don't think you all can. Try to squeeze your shoulder blades together for 10 seconds, all right? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Hold it together. 3, 2, 1, 0. Great, you completed the blue set. Let's try for the second set, right? Your hands, I want you to stretch out your hands. Keep them straight and stiff as if you're frozen. You can put them above you, the same level as your shoulders, but the side is up to you, all right? Ready? Hold it together, stiffen your hands, go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Relax your hands. Now, I hope you're sitting down. Next is the lower back. I want you to sit down, but sit up straight as much as you can. Tense up your lower back muscle and try to sit as tall as you can. All right, sit as tall as you can. Go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Great. Now relax your lower back. Same thing as your hands. I want you to stiffen your legs as if they are frozen. Keep them straight. Okay? Let's go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And relax those legs. Now your feet. I want you to plant your feet, your soles on the ground and push into the ground. Soles on the ground, both feet on the floor, push into the ground as hard as you can. 10 seconds, go. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Good job. Now, finally, your toes. I want you to wiggle them, okay? Like this GIF over here again, all right? So I want you to wiggle them as if you're on grass or you're at the beach, right? Ready? Go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Great. All right, that's the end of the 100-second exercise. This is practice 1. We have a second one. How do you feel right now? This is a very simple exercise. I think it's quite easy to remember. You don't have to complete all 10 steps, but the idea here is that you alternately tense up your muscles and relax them from top to toe to give yourself a deep muscle relaxation exercise. Studies have shown that this actually helps in relieving your anxiety. Okay, and then we'll keep moving on. So, as I mentioned, this was I mentioned my personal story. You're going to skip this slide. And I use different types of mindfulness exercises throughout the day. The busier a calendar, hopefully it doesn't look like mine, the more you should try to learn to take breaks appropriately. Not everybody can sit down and meditate in the middle of the day. So sometimes having some short casual exercises can help you. All right. Just quickly running through some of the signs of how mindfulness helps you. People report 30% decrease in stress whenever they practice mindfulness. And this was in Aetna, which was a very large insurance company in the US. Leaders, if you're a manager, leader, or founder, longer practice of mindfulness can help you become a better listener because you have developed better awareness and emotional intelligence. Not to mention as well that one positive side effect of practicing mindfulness, as found by researchers, is that you also begin to become more productive, right, in other aspects of your life, and learn to actually manage your work periods, more effectively and efficiently. Okay, and so what is actually mindfulness? I talk a bit about research, right? And you may have heard me use mindfulness and meditation alternately. I will just give you the scientific definition of mindfulness as defined by the creator, Jon Kabat-Zinn, who is actually an MIT PhD in molecular biology. It's simply paying attention in a very special way. 3 things. 1, on purpose. Later on, we'll do a breathing exercise, and you will be purposefully paying attention to your breathing, and not just ignoring your breathing, just as we have usually, where we don't pay attention to the fact that we are actually breathing right now. The present moment. You focus on the present breath, not your breath 2 seconds ago, not your breath 5 days ago, not your breath 10 minutes later as well. And thirdly and lastly, you do not judge the breath. You don't think, this breath is boring, and hence, this is so boring exercise. That's judgment. Try to notice the judgment and let it go. Okay? And so this is just a little bit of the science behind the meditation. We can come back to this. I'd like all of us now to join me in a almost 10-minute meditation practice. We're going to meditate on our breath. And so for those of you, whether you have had experience meditating or not, you can feel free to close your eyes if you like, get in a comfortable position. You either close your eyes. Try not to get too comfortable if you want to close your eyes. But if you do not feel that you are going to fall asleep, I'd like you to then keep your eyes half open, look at the ground about 45 degrees in front of you with a soft gaze so that you don't fall asleep. Okay? So I want you to get comfortable. Your hands can be on your lap, or you can clasp them together. I'd like you to then begin by being aware of the sounds around you. You may be in a quiet environment, maybe a somewhat noisy environment. I'd like you to pay attention to be aware of the sounds that you can hear. What are different types? How many different types of sounds can you notice in your environment? There is no need to actually focus on any one particular sound. The goal here is simply to try to notice the different types of sounds you could possibly have around you and just develop greater awareness of your environment. And so gradually, I'd like you to shift your attention from observing those sounds to now I want you to observe your breathing. I'd like you to follow my pace, and let's take in one deep breath together. Fill your lungs. Exhale slowly, letting the breath out gradually. Second deep breath, inhale. Fill those lungs and exhale. Feel that air rushing out and try to stretch it as much as you can. And now our third and final deep breath. Inhale again. And exhale. Gently, slowly empty your lungs. Now go back to breathing normally now, at your normal pace. And try to observe what is different between the deep breath that you just did with me and the normal breathing pace that you have right now. Do you feel any difference in your body? Perhaps you may feel some tingling and sensation in some other part of your body. If so, just notice it. There's no need to pay too much attention, and return your attention gently back to your breathing. I'd like you to return your attention and be focused on your breath. As you inhale, try to notice what you feel about the air as it enters your nose. And as you exhale, try and see whether you can follow the breath and the air as it goes out of your nostrils. I'll give you some time. Observing your breath as they enter your nose. Observing the breath. Noticing whether there's any difference as it escapes and leaves your nose. can notice whether there's any change in temperature between air entering your nose and the air leaving your nose. If you feel distracted, try to gently bring your mind back to your breath. If it helps, focus only on the area below your nostrils and above your upper lip. The area below your nostrils and above your upper lip is the focus of this exercise. Breathe in, observe the air. Try to follow the journey of that air as it enters your body. Is it just in your nose? Perhaps it's in your lungs. Try to follow that journey as the air enters and exits your nose. Maybe you might feel frustrated that you cannot follow this exercise, but your mind is thinking about 1,000 other things. That is okay. Just notice that feeling. It is normal to be distracted, but the purpose of this exercise is to help you train your mind to be more focused on the present moment, your present breath. Breath by breath. Inhale and exhale. You can say, as you take in the breathing, just say to yourself silently that I am breathing in now. And really experience that sentence as you breathe in. And when you exhale, you can also say the same sentence, I'm breathing out now. So that you grounds you with your present breath. And now let's take in one more final breath for this exercise, truly connecting with that present breath as it enters and leaves your body. And with that, I'd like you to gently return your attention to the screen. And if you close your eyes, feel free to open your eyes. If you happen to fall asleep, it's time to wake up. All right. How was this exercise? I think we only have a few minutes left, but I think I can take in a few questions. If you have any questions, feel free to turn on your microphone. I think I can take about 2 to 3 questions before we end off, and I'll try to answer them quickly so that we have time. So the floor is yours, participants.
We can do the questions via the Q&A side as well. So whichever is easier for everyone.
Sure.
So actually there are a couple of questions already, Bjorn. So I think we start with the first one from Daryl, right? Is there a benchmark like in terms of how many days should we aim to feel calm, well-rested, cheerful over a 2-week period?
Daryl Chong. Okay. I feel like I reconnected with some of my long-lost body parts. That's good. Hi, Daryl. Did he mention anything about a benchmark?
Yeah. So specifically, the question is that, is there a benchmark with regards to how many days should we feel calm, well-rested, cheerful, and connected to others over a 2-week period?
Okay, great. I noticed how concise and precise your question was, Daryl. But mindfulness is not actually a matrix-based exercise. It's simply really being comfortable with who you are and your breath. So there is no benchmark over here. The only goal here is try to be frequent and consistent in your practice. So whether you're practicing 10 minutes per day or whether you're practicing 1 minute per day, the regularity is more important than hitting any points or numbers. Because one of the core tenets, and if I may share in the next session, is that there are 7 key foundations of science-based mindfulness. One of them is called non-striving, right? You don't strive for any particular benchmark. You don't strive for any goal. There is nobody to impress. There's nobody to beat or win. There's no KPI. There's no ROI. There's no OKR over here, right? The regularity of that practice is more important. And I would say that 2 weeks is slow. If you really need a benchmark, I would say challenge yourself to practice every day for the rest of your life.
Great. Thanks, Bjorn. Okay, next question, right? So considering the link between mind, emotion, and body, is it possible to feel well mentally and emotionally, but not physically?
Yes, it is possible. It is possible that if you are actually going to be just focusing on pure meditation alone, but then you don't exercise and walk around, yes, there is that possibility that you are physically not well, but only well mentally and emotionally.
Okay. I think there's one more. Yeah, there's one more question, right? So for this from Andy, what are some of the telltale signs when someone says that they are fine, but they're actually not, or maybe they're just not aware?
Well, this is part of what people call mental health first aid, right? So in mental health first aid, you generally learn, I mean, I'm not able to go too much in detail, but there are certain symptoms of somebody encountering anxiety. It's different for somebody suffering from depression, somebody who has bipolar, somebody who just is simply too stressed. It could be somewhat different from person to person. Maybe sometimes it's body pains, maybe sometimes it's stuttering, sometimes shortness of breath, sweating while they're talking to you. It's probably too broad to cover so many different types of well-being ailments, but perhaps this is something we can touch upon in future sessions.
Okay, so I think we can still probably entertain a couple more questions.
Okay,
just feel free to type them out in the Q&A. So Bjorn, I have one. Is there a book or a course or something that you would recommend, right? If anybody wants to get a bit more of a deeper understanding or foothold in starting to be a bit more mindful.
Okay, so if you are interested in a book for mindfulness, purely only for mindfulness, I would suggest Search Inside Yourself. That was the book that got me started on the micro habits for mindfulness, right? So this is developed by this Singaporean, Chet Meng Tan, who was also one of the early engineers in Google. So he has written a book about his own learnings, and he created this program where even the founders participated in this mindfulness program to improve their emotional intelligence and become better performers, better leaders, and better managers.
Right.
If you're interested in an app, of course, you can try out MyFi, type it out. I think we are giving away a few months of free premium subscription, and I'll share with E27 after this session.
Great. Okay, can you stop sharing your screen so I can take over?
Sure thing. Yeah.
Okay, we're now at the Q&A part, and I think we can pretty much wrap up because it's just nice. We're at the end of the session already. So everyone, thanks for joining us again. And like I said, these are weekly sessions that we're going to run. So next week's session, we have it on the 8th of April. And this is a bit more of a how-to type session. And it's together with Mike Pritchard from Shootstar and Pooja Barwani from Antler. So it's specifically to talk about crisis communications, a very niche part of PR. And how do you actually build like a balance between all the empathy, facts, and transparency? And how do you communicate with customers, your user base effectively, especially in this challenging period? So I would encourage all of you immediately after this session, we'll definitely be sending up the follow-up links to sign up for that session, especially if there's a need for you to communicate to your customers, to your investors, or to your users. So once again, please join me in thanking Bjorn. We'll be setting up the video, so you can also do this session privately on your own, and do download the Mindfi app so that you can practice some of the mindfulness related sessions that he spoke about. Okay, thank you everyone, and hope
Thank
this
you, everyone.
helped you be a bit more relaxed, and all the best for the rest of the week.
Yeah. Thank you, E37. Thanks, Mohan.
Bye.
Bye.